says it's live, but I'm here because we had difficulties on the last one. So I'm going to check to make sure that it's showing up. Oh, it is. Hooray. Okay, so here's Mara. I will leave now. And then when you're done, you'll just come on over here and hit stop broadcast.
Okay.
And this is like its own window. So if you need to get back to over here, you know how computers work.
Vaguely, yeah.
Okay,
Great.
So you're good.
Okay.
So like 10 minutes, 15, whatever you want to do.
Sure. Okay, hi. I'm going to be answering some questions, lots of really good questions, a lot of food questions, which is great because I love food. I eat it often, and I enjoy it. So I was told I had a little list that I was going to start with from people that had submitted some questions. So Jaw Movies asks, when did you first ask Christian Harloff to put you in the league? Well, that is the Hollywood story. It's a little complicated, but the short part is that I think it was actually San Diego Comic-Con, maybe 2016, I think. The Screen Junkies crew had a get-together, and he was cordially invited, and he came over, and he had asked me if I would ever be interested. And of course I said, yeah, I think I could be interested in that. And then because he's so busy, you have no idea how busy this guy is. Plus he has a family. He forgot. And then at San Diego Comic-Con 2017, he asked me the same question in the same kind of scenario again. And I gave him the same answer. And then he asked me again a couple months later, and I was like, all right, we're doing this. We're doing this. So I just, at that point, I put my little tiny child-sized foot down, and I said, hey, why don't we do this? Let's do this. But it ended up being a good thing because, the anticipation factor. So Tobias, I'm going to butcher names, and I'm so sorry because my name's Knopic. I know what it's like to have your name butchered. Tobias Mustad, thank you for saying that you love my first match. Do I think I can make an impact in the singles or team league as well? Well, I'll say this. I do have some gaps in my general movie knowledge. I've never really been a Western person per se. There's little things like that, little corners of cinema that can really bite you if you're doing singles stuff. Team stuff could be interesting, but for now I'm just gonna focus on inner geekdom. Who knows how far I'll go. Maybe it'll be a great thing. Maybe I'll be like the actual Brown Dwarf star and kind of be a failed star. So who knows? Have I ever thought about teaming up with Dan as a part 2 of that question? Well, I guess I can say I've thought about it, but again, I'm just kind of taking it as it comes, so we'll see. Plus he's got his own famous schmodown career to handle, and he's got his horsemen, and so, we've got to wait and see where that goes. Dustin Dowd asks who chose the Indiana Jones theme. Will I continue to use it? And that he's waited forever for someone to use it. It was collaborative. I'll admit that my first suggestion was Lawrence of Arabia because I love that music. I absolutely love it. But I have a lot of weird peripheral connections to Harrison Ford in my life. So that was kind of perfect. So between Dan and Christian and Ken was also there, we just decided, I can't believe no one's used this. Let's do it. Billy Pollahan, hi, Billy. Are you looking at any faction to join or staying solo? Well, like I said, I'm always going to keep my options open because I'm not immune to the idea that I can change my mind. So, I'll let you guys know when I know. Or Christian will, because he knows everything. Andy Schick asks, can I describe my career as a scientist? Am I, in fact, a nuclear physicist with multiple PhDs? If so, was it your time in the Navy that led you to this? I was in the Navy for 6 years. I was a nuclear electronics technician on the USS Enterprise. And I do not have multiple PhDs, at least not yet. There's always someday, I have hopefully a lot of life to live yet. And I like school. I love learning. So who knows? But I operated reactors on the Enterprise for 4.5 years. And then I went to work at a boiling water reactor in the southern United States. And I worked there for almost 5 years. So I formerly split the atom on a daily basis. And then I taught people how to do those things, and also about emergency preparedness for nuclear power plants in the United States. So so it's true but not true. There's a little bit of embellishment there, but yeah, I love science, and the Navy certainly brought me into that fold. I don't think that I would have necessarily gone anywhere near that if I hadn't decided to go the Navy route, but I certainly am grateful for them for giving me an education. Let's see. Brooklyn Vale asks, what's your favorite sandwich and your favorite movie soundtrack? My favorite sandwich is a caprese sandwich. It's buffalo mozzarella, balsamic vinegar, basil, and I feel like I'm forgetting something. Oh, tomatoes. I also really enjoy it for people that are in LA. The carving board on Sunset. It's really, really good sandwich. Favorite movie soundtrack. There are so many that I like. I mean, I really like the new Star Trek music. Wrath of Khan also has some of the best Star Trek music ever made. Like I said, I like Lawrence of Arabia quite a bit. Surprisingly, also, Steve Jablonsky is really, really great at making Transformers music, even though Transformers movies are kind of so-so. And really the first one, I have that soundtrack that I listen to in the car sometimes. It's very energetic and invigorating. So, and I have such an appreciation for music. I've played instruments my entire life, so I connect really strongly to music. I'm one of those people that gets goosebumps when they listen to music. I forget what that's called. I think it's like fish on or something. And that only happens to certain people. Not that it makes me special or anything. It's just another way that I can appreciate music. Okay. Joachim Skajum, I'm so sorry. 2 questions. Did I survive the life-threatening milkshake? And would I have any interest in becoming the first quadruple threat? Thank you for saying that you think I'm one of the few people that could be able to do it. Well, like I said, a little bit of blind spots, but the future may hold that I sit down and I spend a month watching Westerns and stuff like that, and fixing in some of my gaps, because when I went on deployment, I missed every new release during that time, and some of them I've never just caught back up and seen. And to go back to the life-threatening milkshake, I did not, unfortunately, get to have the milkshake at Dan's urging. I'm allergic to dairy, like not lactose intolerant, like EpiPen allergic to dairy. So that is why every milkshake is life-threatening. Courtney Alexander asks, which competitor in the Schmodown entertains you the most, or is your personal favorite apart from Dan, of course? I mean, I really like everybody for different reasons. I mean, I think that Janine just has this energy. Rachel is so intimidating with her knowledge and her like steely focus that she has right now. She's just on fire. Gotta respect Kalinowski's knowledge. I mean, to say that that he doesn't know his stuff would be an absolute lie. I love Roca because who doesn't love an outlaw? He's our anti-hero. But I love Mark Riley. I love everybody for different reasons. There's a couple guys I could do without, but we'll just leave that subtle comment hanging in the air. Arjun Kishore asks, what competitor would you most want to team up with apart from Dan? Well, if I'm being totally honest, I would consider teaming up with Rachel because, of course, her knowledge is so impressive. But surprising comment here, I would be interested in teaming up with Kalinowski if we can ever kind of settle whatever beef he thinks that we have, which, I don't even eat a lot of red meat, so I have no beef. So, we can have some soy if he wants, and that's maybe a little easier to digest. So we'll see. Jeremiah Spivey asks, after having such an impressive debut match, do you feel more or less pressure for your second and subsequent matches? I don't really get like nervous or anxious about stuff like that. You know, it's just something fun to do. You know, I don't have anybody that I can like play Monopoly with right now, so I'm like, oh, let's just come and do some trivia. So no, I wouldn't say there's any pressure or anxiety. It's just something fun, you know. Plus, the one thing I've learned after losing a lot at various things like, you know, childhood sports and this, that, and the other, because, you know, you never win at everything. I've become really, really good at losing because I just laugh at myself because everyone else is going to, so I might as well do it too. Nazario Montenegro asks, what's your favorite scary movie? I really wish I could hear you ask me that with like the scream modulator, because that would be really fun. It's so hard. I really love Wes Craven's New Nightmare because I like that it kind of subverted the expectation. They were already getting kind of ridiculous. So, you know, I figure let's just take it to the next level. But some of the scariest ones, I really think that Sinister is one of the most terrifying. It's just 2 movies right now. I don't know if there's anything slated for a third, but they're quite terrifying. Let's see. I mean, I love the classics. I love Halloween. I like Friday the 13th. Let's see. Oh God, one of the scariest movies that I've ever seen is The Dentist. I saw it when I was way too young, like way too young. And it was pretty terrifying because I have complicated like dental issues and I have to have dental surgery every so many years. And because my jawbone never stops growing. And the idea that I saw that movie when I was so much younger than you should be to see that made me terrified of the dentist. So now I take really good care of my teeth so I don't have to go to the dentist very often. So that was terrifying. And then let's see, Oscar Romo asks, excluding Dan's matches and your awesome debut, thank you, what would you say is your favorite Schmodown match? I mean, I really like the like Fatal 5 matches that have been done because, you know, there's a lot of stakes there because it's anything can change from round to round. And I think that they have a really fun dynamic because you have more people involved and changing people in and out. So I like those. I mean, I've been fortunately present for quite a number of them, and they all have a different appeal. You know, some of them are more dramatic, some are more funny, some are more playful. So yeah, I think they all have their charm. So let's see. So I have to go into the chat here and take a look at what questions people are asking. Okay, let's see. Oh, I'm glad you guys enjoyed Bibiani's chat. He's so great. And it turns out those glasses I found backstage were his, and he told me I could have them. Let's see here. Who do I look up to in the Schmodown? Again, like different people for different reasons. You know, there are people that have just been there since day one, kind of getting it established, adding to its legitimacy, and, you know, really bringing in and cultivating this lovely, loyal fan base and, you know, all these patrons and, which thank you to all the patrons. So a lot of people. I mean, I love Ken's just positive attitude. I mean, Christian, like I said, you have no idea, even with him, you know, not being commissionering anymore, which, yeah, I said that way on purpose. He just has so much. He does so much stuff. You have no idea how busy he is. So I respect that he's able to manage and coordinate all of these different people and these resources. I really respect Kalinowski. I mean, game respects game. So yeah, so I look up to a lot of people. Let's see. Which of the wheel categories do you think has the most diversity in question types? Well, I mean, I think part of it is the depth and selection of what those things are. So for example, Middle Earth seems it might not be as complicated as, let's just say, Star Wars. because, you know, Middle Earth only has 6 movies. Star Wars, if you're including everything, let's see, they have what, 11 now? Is that right? Well, whatever, they have a lot. And you'd think that, oh, well, there's going to be much more depth in this other larger group of things, but Middle Earth is so dense. Similarly, when you compare like Star Trek and Star Wars, again, so many different things that you can ask about each category. So a lot of it also depends. I mean, round 2 is, you know, where they start digging deeper into things. And I think that you can get caught up in realizing that there's so much more to a category than you even considered when you were watching the movie. Let's see. How much did Dan help her with her debut, or was it all just natural ability? Well, I mean, of course, you know, much like before Dan's matches, you know, I will quiz him. So, you know, I'd ask him to quiz me, and I rewatched a couple of things that I hadn't seen in a long time. So, you know, I would say though that in general, I had already really had a strength for these types of movies, which is why I asked Christian specifically about Inner Geekdom versus, you know, just a singles debut. So a little of both, but, you know, I think that the knowledge was there. Let's see here. What actor or actress always plays the same character no matter the movie they're in? Let me think about that for just a second. Well, I mean, Ryan Reynolds he's done other things, don't get me wrong, but he has managed very artfully to craft a career around being Ryan Reynolds. I mean, if you have that charisma, you have, you know, that good, he has great comic timing, he's very witty, he can ad-lib, you know, if you are charming, and The Rock too, you know, The Rock, wow, they're having a lot of fun out there. The Rock is also, you know, that same kind of, like that just human magnetism that makes you want to watch what they're doing and hear what they have to say. So kind of those two, and there's nothing wrong with it too. I mean, I enjoy watching their movies. Dan versus Cucumber for the movie fights title, who you got? I mean, that's no question. The human being is going to squash the vegetable, unfortunately. And then I'm going to turn Cucumber into a pickle. What surprised me most in the process of doing a match? They go by much quicker when you are the competitor. You know, there's time when you're sitting in the audience to kind of look around you and think to yourself, do I know this answer? And watch what the competitors are doing. Listen to the who's calling the match and what their commentary is and what they're saying about how everyone's doing. So it goes by much quicker, I think, when you're doing the match. So I would say that's probably the biggest surprise. Let's see here. Favorite movie decade? Ooh, can I just pick like from the mid-ish 80s to the mid-90s? I mean, you've got some of the best action movies in there. Plus, I love the 80s. I feel like I was born 10 years too late, that I should have grown up like heart in the 80s and been able to, you know, have teased hair and a bad perm and listening to Pat Benatar and being the person that's still like clinging to ABBA and, you know, just all of that stuff. I love the 80s. That's definitely my go-to travel music. Let's see.
One more.
Okay. Oh, one more. Okay, hold on. Let me take a look. I want to do a good one. Oh, okay. Has Dan introduced me to a film that I ended up loving, or vice versa? I introduced him to the entire spectrum of horror movies. I mean, he's such an experienced lover of cinema, but he doesn't like movies with jump scares, which, I mean, I think it's the cheapest form of scaring someone. You know, when you cultivate an atmosphere and you can make me terrified no matter what is happening, I think that's a greater skill as a filmmaker. But every year we watch a movie every single day of the month of October. Hashtag 31 Days of Halloween. And so I think that I've introduced him to the parts of horror that you can really like, that, you know, some of them are cheesy and some of them are great and everything in between. And let's see, he introduced me to Gosford Park, and I loved that movie. I love really kind of cerebral what is going on in this movie, trying to figure out who people really are, what's their motivation, which is part of why I really enjoyed Murder on the Orient Express that came out just a little while ago. And then they're moving on with the sequel, yay! So yeah, I'd say that's probably a good way to answer that. And I'm getting the cue to wrap it up. So thank you, everybody. I had a lot of fun doing this. Please send more food questions because, again, I often eat food. So this is something I know a lot about. You might even see it as one of my strengths in my next match. So I'm going to click the button I have to click now. And thanks again, everyone. Bye.